Now that I have my shorter draft version here, I want to export it. So in order to turn your recipe and ingredients into an actual video that people can watch, put on your website, share, then we need to make sure that this is what is highlighted. It is possible to export like your warning color by accident. So just make sure you're actually on the sequence that you wish to export and go to File, Export, and you always want to choose Send to Media Encoder. This brings up a second program that is going to do the work for us of encoding and turning it into a video. So here is what that program looks like. You may have noticed that it automatically installed when we installed Premiere. It's just that important. So we've got three things to check here. One of them is the H.264, that's the MP4 video format. By default, that is usually what we're going to see. There are a lot of other formats, and if you click on it, you'll see that this is where we could choose the different formats. This is the preset right here, and I actually want to change that to the YouTube 1080p full high definition because Google Drive's encoding and YouTube's encoder, they're the same thing. So if it looks good for YouTube, it'll look good on Google Drive as well. You can see that it's 1920 by 1080. There are a lot of other settings on here. If we wanted to make it a smaller file, we could reduce that from 16 down to something smaller, but we'll just shoot for the 16 right now. It's going to make a 75 megabyte file, more or less. The other thing to check is right here, the name of the file. Where is it going to go? And what is it going to be called? So we can find it afterwards. So this is where you could make adjustments if needed. Clicking Save and OK, you'll notice that our preset now, this would, if I click on it, bring up that same screen, and this would allow me to change the name, the location, whatever I might need to do. So you'll see that it is a job that is waiting to be run, especially when you have longer videos and you want to encode it at different bit rates. You would be able to just keep adding the jobs and then click play, and it will encode them one after another. This Adobe Media Encoder also allows us to go back to Premiere and keep working. So it's going to do that job in the background while I go back and I look at my master and I just maybe do a final check after watching that draft. If there's nothing that needs to be changed, I can export my master. Now remember, it will by default be called master. Don't turn in anything that has that as the file name. So we're going to wait for that to encode. You can see it actually doing the job down here. The estimates really are just estimates. It depends on how much is going on in the background. So when it got to this credit sequence, it really slowed down because it's doing a lot of work to have all those images on the screen at the same time. And now that it's done, you can see that the job is grayed out. We could right-click on the job, make slight changes by resetting the status, duplicating the job. Like, it's really good to have this record of what's been done, including clicking on this name, and it'll take us right to the video file in the right folder. You can double-click on it and watch it in double speed the way that I can do so that I can just make sure that there aren't any changes before the final.